Hello and welcome to Cute Pixel. It has been quite a while since I have done a stream. It was last year, actually, a few months ago. And so Happy New Year. I see Pixel Grief is in chat. Happy New Year to you as well, Pixel Grief. And for those of you who have tuned in before, you've probably noticed a couple of changes about the stream. First is I am employing some background music to hopefully give you something to listen to besides my voice. I hope this isn't too distracting, but let me know in chat what you think of that. It's something I'm experimenting with. The other thing I'm doing is I'm publishing a stream schedule in advance, and that's available on screen right now. You can see right now I'm just doing some open source software development using doing a random name generator, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And on Sunday morning, morning my time, 8 a.m. United States Pacific time, I'll stream more open source software development, and the project is yet to be determined. It depends on how much progress I make tonight. I'm actually starting this project tonight from scratch, so we'll just have to see how far we get, and if we need to continue, I'll continue that on Sunday. Otherwise, I have something else I might try. So what is the random name generator? The idea here, let me bring up my notes here, is you want to come up with a random name for a project. You have a project or you have something you want to name, and you don't really care what it is. You just need a name, like maybe a server or a temporary project, whatever. And so I think GitHub actually has such a feature that works like this. If I say, hey, let me go make a new repository, I think it actually has a feature to do this. Yeah, so we need inspiration. How about Jubilant Couscous is the random suggestion it gives there. And so my idea is to have a text file of words and then randomly combine them together to come up with a random name for something. A very simple project. The problem I've run into before when I do such a project is coming up with the list of words. You could basically handpick a few, and it's just really challenging to pick all of those. And so my thought was, I believe there's a GNU word dictionary. Or word list. Must be a dictionary. I should have looked this up before I started streaming, but I just assumed it'd be... here it is. Here, the GNU Collaborative International Dictionary of English. The complete text of the dictionary corpus along with accompanying ancillary files is available for download. And so my thought was to download this. Last I looked at it, it's in a bit of a format that requires some parsing, and so my thought was to build a parser for this, to pull out a set of words and use those to produce our random words. And so I'm going to start this project the same way I start every project. So it's actually a little bit farther behind than other projects I've started on stream, and that other projects I've started on stream usually have a GitHub repository created already. This one doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and create that now. The name I've come up with is Thing Namer. Description, I think I got a description I can use from my Twitch channel. Let's see here. Random name generator. Let's go a little bit more elaborate. Let's say combine words together. Combine random words to form a random name. And just to confirm that this is similar to other repositories I have, I'm going to go compare that here. Yeah, so it looks like I did not go with the sentence approach. I kind of did the book title approach. So let's go with the book title approach. And I can always change this later if I decide, but... Combine words together to form a random name. We'll say this is public. We won't initialize this with anything. I've got a set of files I will use to put this together. And boom, there it is. Now, it doesn't exist yet. I still actually need to do the first push. But what I'm going to do is look at some of my other repositories, such as... let's see, we've got Stimulus Package is probably my most elaborate repository, so let's go with this one. I need a license, a README, contributors. Let's just copy and paste these from from my other project here. We'll make a new folder. Thing namer. Yeah, so we need contributing, contributors, license, README, and POM. We'll need all of those just for the basics here. Yeah, let's see, I think I have Atom up. Let's go take a look here. So as with other projects, I have this contributor license agreement. If someone wants to contribute to one of my projects, I ask that they print out and sign one of these agreements. I've created one for this project. Let's just confirm that that URL does exist. Excellent, there it is. This is just to basically ensure that any contributions that someone gives to me, I have the right to use. I don't want to have legal questions down the road. So it's somewhat standard for open source projects to use something similar to this. So that's kind of the motivation there. So let's go fix that. These get sent to my email, cla@cutepixel.com. So we also have a contributors list, which should be empty. I don't think anyone's contributed to any of my projects yet. Yep, there we go. License, I prefer the MIT license. Hope it's 2019 now, so let's go with the MIT license. README. What do we got here? We've got a bunch of stuff here. Adam is doing weird word wrapping. Let's fix that. There we go. And we got a cheat I can use here. Except it's hidden the description. What's a pain? I think I can remember what it was though, and I can fix this up if I need to. So basically, form a random name. Now let's see if I can just go back and pull it up here. Yeah, there we go. Combine words together to form a random name. See, the music is a little loud for me, so I'm going to turn that down on my end. but it should be okay. You should be able to hear me just fine over the music on your end. Certainly let me know if the music is a little too loud for you, though. It's something I'm still experimenting with. We're going to just delete all of the plugin specific stuff. Most of my projects are Minecraft plugins. This one is not, so it looks a little bit different. Yeah, so that link looks correct, and it looks like I don't apply a copyright to my README files or my Markdown files. So then I've been wondering if I want to do that at some point. I'll think about it. And I think I'm going to not do the POM file yet. I'm going to do that as the second commit. So we basically have the initial version that adds in the contributing notes, the README, the bare bones README, and the license file. That should be enough to get a GitHub repository up and running. So let's go take a look. And of course I do git status, there's no repository here, so let's go init this. We've got our initial files here that we just set up, so let's go ahead and add those. How about period, not a comma? Initial version. Let's see, I'm going to have to connect to Git here. I think it's got a problem for my password. I think I can do this safely. Let's do it over SSH. Say git push. And we'll push that to master. And this should prompt me for my SSH key. Alright, let's go take a look, see if that push did work correctly. And there it is. And so if you actually want to take a look at this code in real time, you can go to my GitHub repository, github.com/qdpixel/thing-namer. I mean, there's nothing there other than those kind of starting template files. But as more code gets added, you can go look and see what that looks like. And yeah, I think I'll leave the README alone until I have kind of more stuff implemented and I can actually give someone a hint as to how to use this and how it works, how to compile it. Till I'm there, there's really no point. So I think the next step is to add in the POM file. For those who do Java, or don't do Java, this is so that Maven can actually compile the project. So let's just grab one from Stimulus package. We'll have to update it for our own uses. My objective now is to basically make Hello World in Java, to basically get a functioning development environment up where I can build, compile, and run a very simple application, Hello World in this case. It's kind of how I start pretty much every single one of my projects. So first, let's update our copyright 2019. Happy New Year again. We call this thing namer. And let's go steal our description here. We got all this boilerplate stuff. This is the MIT license. This all gets retained as is. We got our project namespaces. I don't think any of these have changed, although I haven't checked if there's a new version of Maven lately. I should probably check that one of these days. Call it thing namer. We'll deploy it as a jar. Version 100 snapshot, which I think should be the same thing we've done for... Actually, let's go back. Let's go over to here. I think Corecraft is not released yet, so this should have the snapshot versioning as well. Just wanted to confirm that is how you do it. Yeah, 1.0.0-snapshot is how you would tell Maven that this is not a release version of your project. It's the in-development version. And we'll call this thing namer. And for the URL, we'll just give it my GitHub URL. Interesting. What was there before? Yeah. Just double checking there's nothing weird there. Alright, so we've got some repositories here. These are used to bring in... Oops, what did I just do? Apparently Atom is not configured the way I would like. I'll need to revisit that at some point. Not that I do most of my edit in an Atom, but control up and down. I'm used to control up and down actually scrolling through the document, and it's actually moving this line up and down, which is a little weird to me. But these repositories, these are for external dependencies for my Minecraft plugins, and I don't need these, so let's get rid of those. These dependencies are also for the Minecraft plugin. We've got Spigot, Shop Chest, Sand Economy, Grief Prevention, and JUnit. If I'm going to write a unit test, I must have written one or more unit tests for a stimulus package. I don't remember that. Yeah, there they are. Okay. Neat. I like unit testing, but I don't remember creating unit tests for that project. These projects are so basic, I don't really foresee adding a lot of unit testing or testing to them for the moment. Just kind of playing around right now. Properties. We use UTF-8 because that gets rid of a warning from Maven. We've got some other properties here. We've got a build property. I think this is for JUnit, and so I'm just going to get rid of this whole section. We don't need any of that as far as I'm aware. The other thing to do is to create kind of the initial class. I'm going to do this by hand so that I can go fire up my IDE down the road. Let's see. I want to reclone this at some point, but since I've started this work, I will... let's see, I think I can do this. Where are we at here? Let's just move pom.xml to down 1. Hopefully it's the same. Yep, there it is. Now let's go ahead and delete this folder. Let's delete demu. There we go. Now let's go ahead and reclone that so I get one that has all my repository connections all hooked up properly. And ta-da! Here's our POM file all set up. Everything's back to normal here. Okay, so I'm going to have to remind myself of what the folder structure looks like. First we need source. Let's make dir source. Then we have main, so let's go make dir main. Let's do Java. One thing I don't like about Maven and Java is just the complexity of the folder structure. Most IDEs kind of abstract this away so you don't see it all. But when you're setting up something by hand, it does require a little bit of patience. And the last one is going to be the kind of package name here, so this will be thing namer. I get rid of the dash because Java package names don't use dashes. All right, let's go bring it up through all those folders. And here it is. Let's go grab any one of these. It doesn't really matter. And let's go fix up our header here. The copyright year is 2019. And I think we've got our other line we can pull from README. So let's, nope, not README, but yeah, here, we have the POM XML, we've already updated that. I've got all of our standard template stuff. Now let's create our package and our class. And in this case, instead of stimulus package, this is thing namer. Class is main. So nice and basic. We've got our main function that prints out hello world if I've done everything correctly, which is 50-50 whether I've done so. This should print out hello world. So let's go give this a try. Well, it compiles, so that must be good enough, right? Let's go ship it. Oh, let's run it, see if it actually runs. Give our class path target thingnamer.jar, and we're going to run that class. Aha, it does indeed work. Alright, so this has given us our POM file that we've created and our source directory which we've created. It's also given us a target directory that has all of our compiled stuff. We can actually bring that up and take a look here. We've got our jar file that we just ran. We've got classes, generated sources, some other Maven stuff I'm not really familiar with. And I typically don't like to commit the target, and you're not really supposed to because it's all generated stuff. So the other thing I've got to copy over, I might be able to do this from Adam, is I get ignore. As you can see, we already ignore target, and then we also ignore .idea. That is a folder created by my IDE, which I haven't set that up yet, so I'm not going to do that, but I will just grab this. Let's close all these things. We've got a bunch of stuff open. New file.get ignore. Okay, let's go fix up our headers. We got copyright year 2019. Still getting used to saying 2019. I grew attached to 2018, but it is 2019 now. And we've got our little descriptor there. Let's pull that forward. And then, yeah, the only thing we really want to ignore at this point is the target directory. So let's give this another try. Yeah, so here we've got get ignore, we've got the POM file, and we've got the source directory. I just want to confirm that GitHub did pick up my license. Yeah, it looks like it did. One of the reasons why I use this license template file is because I found this is the template that works with GitHub and picks it up automatically. So that's why I tend to copy paste that rather than try to do that myself each and every time. If you want other licenses, if you're working with GitHub, GitHub does have the ability to select different templates, so you can always do that for other licenses if you want to explore how to get that automatic license detection working for yourself. Alright, just doing a quick check to see if there's anything I've missed here. I think we've got it all. So let's go ahead and add and do a git diff cache. This should show me the new files. So we've got get ignore, thing name, combine words together to form a random name, copyright 2019, blah 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 blah, all standard stuff. We've got our POM, same thing, descriptor, project name, copyright, boilerplate, group ID, com, cute, pixel, artifact ID, thing namer, packaging jar, version 100, name, thing namer, URL is my GitHub repository. Properties are set up so it builds properly with no warnings. And then our source, project name and descriptor, copyright, boilerplate, and hello world. Let's see. I always like to be consistent with how I commit things, so let's go look at another project that has a very similar commit structure. Yeah, add hello world example. We'll go ahead and with that. I'll go ahead and push that too and just take a look, see what that looks like. Now that is, we're beginning to get some real code here. We've got our source directory with our Java file. I suspect that GitHub should pick this up as a Java project now if I click that. Yep, 100% Java. We have our get ignore, our contributing stuff, our license, our POM, our source, everything is present.
Goes from the west, great hammers will fall under high rock.
This song has some vocals. I'm not sure how that'll sound on stream, so if the vocals make it hard to hear me, let me know and I'll switch to a different song. I haven't tested any vocals. I wasn't aware that the service I'm using actually has vocals on any of their songs, so that's a new one for me. Yes, this looks great. I think at this point I want to bring in my IDE, because I use IDEA or IntelliJ or whatever it's called. IntelliJ IDEA. So let's go ahead and open a project. And this will make it a lot easier to going forward here. I just reinstalled this editor earlier today, so I have not had a chance to configure it for everything, so I might find a few things annoy me, and I might have to go and clean those up. But I'll see how far we get here. Oh, like that font seems really tiny. I'm not sure you'd be able to read that cleanly on stream, so I'm going to go ahead and blow that up a little bit here. If I can find my settings. That changed everything but the editor. Ah, here we go. Let's try 28. I'm going to just apply that, not click OK. A little small still. Let's try 38. What? Yeah, I think 32 will work. Let me know if you are having any issues reading that. Let's see, it is. I'm just checking this line length here, so let's just keep bumping up. 36 is too large. Let's go with, oh, I can make this smaller. Yeah, it's doing annotations on me. I hate annotations. Or not annotations, or collapsing. I forget what it's called. Hello, Arnie. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Arnie L. Foe. Welcome to the stream. I've got code style, which I'll probably want to change eventually, but I think there's like a folding or an outline. I'm just not sure where I would see that. Maybe it's under here. Cold folding, yeah, let's go ahead and turn this off. There we go. Good taste in music, sir. Excellent, thank you. Yeah, this is actually the first time I am trying music on stream. I found a service called Pretzel Rocks, and I found I like their Epic playlist, so that's what I'm going with today. Oh, I just got to click attach annotations. That's easy. This is saying that there's an issue here. What's the issue? 2 typos found. By a non-infringement. Hello, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate that. Let's see. So typo and non-infringement. Well, this is a word that I didn't type in. It comes from the MIT license. So I'm just going to tell this to save this to my project level dictionary. And apparently it doesn't like the word namer. Namer is probably not a correct English word. Well, screw it. I'm going to keep it anyways, because I think it's cute. And what have we got here? Yeah, so this created a .idea folder. Let's see what got put in here. Oops. helps if I change to it. Now we've got compiler XML. I don't think I really need to save this into Git. If I remember correctly, I've ignored my my .idea folder before. Let's look at dictionaries. This is probably a custom dictionary. Pix.xml. Well, that's my username. This probably has namer and non-infringement. Okay, well those are the two words I just added. I don't think those need to be committed, because I don't like committing IDE-specific files to a repository, because I have no idea what IDE someone else is going to use. If somebody wants to use Eclipse or something else entirely, I don't want them to be burdened with my IDE's files, or if they use a different version of IDEA. And so yeah, I think all these things, I'm just going to ignore this whole folder. Really no reason to keep that. And I think I did it with up above, .idea was my memory. Yeah, .idea first. So I do it alphabetical and I ignore things like punctuation, like that starting space. I'll just start it up top there. Arnie Elfo says, it is useful when everyone at the team uses the same editor, though. Yeah, I have been on projects where people do use different editors, and it is a little bit of a challenge. You're right. If I was on a more professional team with a group of similar developers, we'd probably all be using the same editor or same IDE. However, with open source projects, that's not really the case. A large project could be worked on by any number of people who might have any editor they want to use, so I don't want to lock them in unless we have to. Alright, so I've modified gitignore. We also have thingnamer.iml. What the heck is this? Is waiver module true? Java module. Let's just ask Google. Module file created by IntelliJ IDEA. Alright, well it is yet again, a IDEA file, and so I'm going to ignore that so that people don't have to deal with that. And it's thingnamer.iml. I'm guessing IML stands for IntelliJ module. And we'll put that there. Hello, Stevewood1990. Welcome back to the stream. ArnieFlow asks, what would you use that thingnamer for? Well, let's say I am deploying Amazon AWS servers, and I have a dozen I want to deploy. They all need unique names, but I don't really care what their names are. I would use a name generator to randomly pick names for those servers. Or let's say I'm doing a prototype project. I'm prototyping a weird little open source project that may not go anywhere, and I just need a name for something. And so, the thingnamer is just to pull a random name, just so you have it available, just so you don't have to think about it. I found, working professionally, that sometimes you need a name for something, but don't care what it is. And Stevoid says, hope you had a great new year. Yes, I did. I was actually at a local bar with some pinball, played some pinball throughout the new year. And you said was awesome in Vegas, so I bet Vegas is probably a great place for the new year. And an example of how the thing namer might come in handy. I gave this example at the beginning of my stream, but if you're actually creating a new repository in GitHub, it actually has a feature that is very similar to what I'm looking at here. You know, great repository names are short and memorable, need inspiration. How about verbose guide? So I basically took two random words, mashed them together, and came up with that proposed name. And so I'm basically coming up with my own version of that same feature there. Not necessarily going to be a real huge, elaborate project. This is mostly something small to do on stream to try to get me back into the streaming habit and kind of tied you guys over, tied me over till while I work on some more elaborate stuff on the back end. What I'm trying to do on my own time is learn Unity and try to get into some game development. And so what I want to do is do actual game development on stream, but I don't know Unity yet, and so if I was going to do that now, you'll be watching me go through tutorials and a whole bunch of boring stuff, and so I'm doing something like this instead, something simple that I can do that will allow me to try to keep the stream alive while I'm working on these more elaborate things. Groove says, time for me to run. Nice seeing you streaming again. I will try to catch the stream on Sunday. Excellent. Yes, great to see you again. Happy New Year. And yeah, hopefully I will see you on Sunday. And for those who are just tuning in, I do have a small stream schedule, which I'll put up just briefly here. I'm trying to get better about setting a specific stream schedule, so if you guys like what you see and you want to see more, these gives you times you can tune in. If you have suggestions for times that work better or worse, I'm certainly open to trying different times. I have no idea what your own schedules and time zones are. Siva1990 says, Unity has JavaScript. You may prefer that over C#. I also heard Unity is getting visual scripting. Newer versions of Unity have actually dropped JavaScript, and so last I checked, C# is basically the only option if you're working with Unity. I've not heard about visual scripting, so that's probably something new that I haven't heard about yet. But yeah, one of the things I'm learning is C#, which I've actually done C# professionally as well, so it's not a huge leap, but it's been a few years, so it's getting kind of back into it a little bit. Oh yeah, Arnie Elfo confirms, yep, nope, JavaScript is dropped due to drop-in. Yeah, sorry, yeah, I have the advantage of not being affected by the stream delay. So you will sometimes hear things from me about 5 seconds after you've already typed it in. But no, I appreciate the confirmation as well. Yeah, I've worked with C# a little bit. I think, Steve Wood, you may have seen me work with C# on a different channel. Or not C#, JavaScript. And JavaScript is okay, but I wouldn't really want to do that for game development. I think C# is a much better option. Let's see, one of the things I've been forgetting to do is to keep my list of completed tasks here. So I'm just going to go through and grab these real fast. We did the initial version. We've added the Hello World example. And now we're ignoring... let's see, I think I have a commit that I can look at here. Arnie Elfo says JavaScript support was glued around that Python-ish runtime in Mono. So they dropped support for that runtime, and the JavaScript just kind of died as well. I was a little disappointed they did that. I was kind of hoping to do JavaScript development because I had done JavaScript more recently. But my understanding is that all the examples are in C#, and C# had the best support, and so it's probably better for everyone to just do C# with Unity rather than trying to shoehorn something else in. Okay, so a bunch of work to basically get our template repository up. We have Hello World working. We have it working inside IntelliJ, so I think I can actually run this. And we should see Hello World. Excellent. So I can now do everything inside my IDE without having to mess around with the command line at this point. Although I am a big fan of the command line, so I'll probably continue to drop to the command line to do stuff, but it is good to have everything working in the IDE. And so the question becomes what to do next. My thought with this is to basically have a file of words, probably one word per line to keep them formatting nice and simple, not have to parse out anything weird. I could make things even simpler and use standard in for this. So I don't actually have to read from a file and do any of that file handling. So let's just experiment with that and see what using standard in would look like. So we have system.in input stream dot read. So this is just a plain barren input stream. It's probably going to be easier to do like a buffered input stream or something. It's been a while since I've worked with the Java input streams. Let's go see what our options are. Buffered input stream. Read. There's nothing really interesting here. I want something that has like a read line or something. Buffered reader. Read line. Reads a line of text. That's probably pretty good there. Steve1990 asks, do I have a list of names to generate from? I do not. For development purposes, I'm going to just slap together a really simple list of probably like the numbers and a few other things to just have a small corpus to test with. What I ultimately want to do is to use this GNU Collaborative International Dictionary of English and pull out a list of words from here using a variety of criteria. Probably going to be things like a number of letters, probably avoid profanity. I don't know what's in here, but I'm assuming if I look for it, I will find all sorts of profanity and other stuff. So I'm going to see if I can pull out a list of candidate words from this and build up a little parser to work with this. So that's kind of the end goal. Let's actually make a note of that. Just so I have that in my notes. Tasks is to pull words from here. And we call this what? The GNU Collaborative International Dictionary of English. Now, it's been a little while since I looked at that, but there's a bit of a weird format that those things have. Arnie Elfo says, what a nice dictionary. Yeah, I looked at it, and last time I looked at it, it looked like there is some... Let's just go look at it right now. Why not? Let's go download it and unpack it. So download and unpack its copy and use the gcider utility. guessing all of these are all the same here. So let's go download the smaller tar file. GCIDE. So let's go to tar, extract. And what we got? Let's just less one of them here and see what it looks like. So we have numbers. Oh, 0. Okay, the word 0. 1. Let's just go down a little bit here, see what we got here. Uh, 3D, a movie with images having three-dimensional form or appearance. 3-hitter, so it has kind of these combined words. Octavo, 8vo. Oh, 8vo. Okay, so here's the actual word. So ENT must be entry. So there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to be able to use here. You know, these very, very small ones and these with numbers. So I'll need to just kind of peruse this at some point and see what... Yeah, options are like, we have got AAM, a water bucket, a Dutch and German measure of liquids run in different cities. Wow. Nautical, pertaining to Aaron, the first high priest of the Jews. Yeah, so there's probably a lot of stuff here I'm not going to be able to use. My hope is that there would be some metadata to allow me to kind of select out things that work better than others. And I just have to, I don't know what the formatting is here, so I'll have to look this over and see what the formatting is and see if I can make heads or tails of what to do. But you can see how there's some weird formatting going on here. We have what looks like HTML or XML mixed. Then we've got line breaks here in weird places. So I'll just need to kind of play with this and see if we can make heads or tails of this. But for right now, I think we have a much simpler approach, which is to figure out how to just read a list of words from standard input. We'll start with standard input as a nice simple thing to work with. And I think buffered reader was the thing that looked the best for me. So I'm going to just say buffered reader is equal to new buffered reader system in. This probably is giving me an exception from something. Oh, we need a reader. Let's see, probably need an input stream reader maybe. Let's see. Yeah, input stream reader. See, this is what I hate about the Java I/O library is I need to chain all these things together. So this needs a new input stream reader. That could take an input stream. I'll look at what readline does. I think readline will return null or an exception. Readline of text line is returned by end of line. Returns or null if the end of stream has been reached. So what I can do is read from it, and while it is not null, continue to read from it. So let's say string line is equal to that. That's where we're going to generate an exception. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do a bad practice. I'm just going to throw exception here. Normally it's better to process exceptions. Throws. But since it's just a prototype and I don't really care, I'm not going to handle anything right at the moment. And then while line is not equal to null, we're going to do some stuff. Let's say let's just print it out. Let's go nice and simple. We'll keep Hello World for now. That'll give us a chance to kind of test this a little bit. So let's go give this a try. Let's go do this inside my command prompt here. And so this is going to need... Oh. Something's broke. Helps if I actually do this. Yeah, so it's just repeating back what I've typed. Let's go ahead and create a simple words document here. Ah, come on. I hate it when editors try to be super smart. There we go. So that's kind of the thought there, that you will run it and pass in words.txt on the standard input, and that basically gives you the list of words. So we're actually really close here, and we have the list of words. Let's change this to say list of words. Arnie Alpho says, my editor is super dumb sometimes. Yeah, editors like to try to be smarter than the people that are working them, and it results in some really frustrating behavior sometimes. I think that'll work. Let's give that a try. Oops. Yeah, so very simple output. Let's go just change this just slightly. Word list. Now the words.txt, that's for my local testing, so I don't want to actually commit that. I'm tempted to add that to get ignore, but there's really no reason to add it because it's not something that other people would necessarily encounter. I think I will not add it to get ignored just yet. I'm going to just say that's kind of my own personal thing. That's my personal testing. It's not something that someone's likely going to run into and needs to ignore. Alright, so we've updated our class. We've added buffer reader. We've added input stream reader. We've updated our function to throw exceptions so that we don't have to handle any IO exceptions. We've changed hello world to word list, and then we turn around and read in everything from the standard input and write it out line by line. Now, if someone is doing this interactively like I started with, it is not fantastic because it prints things out while you're doing it, but we're just testing right now, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. All this will change. Yeah, so at this point we're just reading a list of words from standard input. Make sure I'm not committing our words file. There we go. So a pretty simple change, but you can see how we're getting pretty close at this point. You know, kind of the next step is to probably create a collection to hold this list of words. Probably an array list would be my thought, because we're going to want to access it in a random fashion. We're going to basically pull in the list of words into an array and generate a random number between 0 and the list number of words in the list. Just taking a second to think through what might be next. Yeah, let's go ahead and create a collection for this. I think I do like array list. Let me just confirm array list is the correct option here. Resizable array implementation of the list interface, implements all optional list operations, blah, 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 blah. This seems reasonable. If we have a absolute huge list with, I don't know how many entries, 1,000,000 entries, we might have some space issues or algorithm issues. But as the Arnie Alpho says, I don't have much experience with Java. How does it throw exceptions at main method definition? Sure, that's a great question. So this is really just a declaration at this point. This is declaring that this function, or this method, can throw an exception. And so it basically says that anytime anyone calls this function, they need to expect an exception to come from this class. This itself doesn't actually throw the exception. What happens is, I believe, this line and this line, specifically the read line call, actually throws the exception. If I didn't have this, I'd be forced to do a try catch. And you can see what's happening here, that read line is lighting up as with a red underline saying untitled exception, Java IO exception. And so it's this part that's actually throwing the exception, and this is just declaring that this function throws it so I don't have to handle it myself. It is just purely being lazy at this point, because I don't care. It's not a great approach, because in a real bit of software you'd want to catch those exceptions and put up a nice error message and, you know, give the user a chance to repair it. But for a prototype like this, it doesn't matter. And good to know. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. You're happy to help. Yeah, if anyone has any kind of general software development questions, I'm happy to answer those while I work on this stuff. You know, the project is a pretty basic project, and so I don't mind answering questions and talking about stuff. I think the stream is more about what we're doing together. So, great question. And so, yeah, I think I want to build an array list to hold this. Let's say array list, oops, helps if I spell it correctly. Word list is equal to new array list. Oh, this actually is a generic, so let's parameterize it with a string. Actually, I have an idea for improving one of the issues I ran into earlier. It's not a huge thing, but it'll be kind of a nice intermediate step to do here. The idea will be to load all the words into this array list, and then we can go through and print them out later on. Let's actually, well, we'll fix this up here. So I've got the array list. Yeah, let's go ahead and just duplicate this while I'm thinking about it. We'll comment that out because we don't need it at the moment, but that'll be kind of the secondary output loop. So I've got our word list, and now instead of printing things out, let's say word list.add line. Now we could say for string word in word list. So what this will do in that, actually let's go ahead and move this down as well. I kind of like the output code to be grouped together in a nice sane fashion. So we have a bunch of code that's going to read in all the words. And then we later on, and then we have another bunch of code to print out the words. So we will read the entire file, or the standard input, before we start doing output, because you might remember what we had before, if it's still around. Yeah, so when I was doing it by hand, I type in the word A, and we'd output A, type in the word B, output the word B. Now I'll be able to type in all the words and then have them outputted as a batch when I'm all done. So I think that'll be a nice cleaner approach to this here, and a nice kind of intermediate step. What is line complaining about? Or is it complaining? I just don't know why the word line is underlined. I don't see any reason for it to complain. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Yeah, so we type in our words. If I wanted to get fancy, I could have a bit of output that basically says, enter your words at this point, but I suspect most of the usage of this is going to be through automation, through passing things in via either pipes or something else, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I'm going to get rid of that. Oops. Helps if I actually build it again. Actually, I probably could build inside the IDE and not have to rebuild it every time. Yeah, so now that we have this differentiation, we don't need that kind of prefix, that dashed prefix. And the other thing I kind of wanted to do is to rename this from line to, I think, word. Because I think that's a more accurate description. Of course, bear in mind I have absolutely no sanity checking in here. Let's do a quick build, see what this does. Oh no, that won't work because we replicate the word variable down here. And we'll go back to what we had. Line works. Yeah, so I can build here. Let's just do a quick test. Alright, so if I build inside IntelliJ, it builds the class, but it doesn't actually build a new jar file. So I do need to continue to build the jar file from the command line for running it this way. But I bet if I run it through IntelliJ, that won't be an issue. Let's give that a try. Let's see, Control-Shift-10 to run. Let's give that a try. Nice. So it's a little weird in that I have to kind of click in to activate it, but it does seem to work just fine there as well. So it might be a good, easy test. I could stay in the IDE rather than going to the command prompt over and over again. Alright, this seems like a pretty good commit point. Let's go ahead and see where we are at. Before I commit, I will run it from the command line just to make sure that the desired compilation approach is working. When I was just saying, there is no sanity checking, so if I type in a crazy long word, it just outputs that out again. And so, you know, we obviously, if we're doing real words, we wouldn't want anything that's like a sentence or anything like that. But I don't think I'm going to do any sanity checking yet, because the word list is going to come from the user. And so I'm going to let them figure out what words they want to use, and if they do something crazy, well, that's on them. They got more of a prototype, so I'm not going to worry too hard about it. Yeah, so at this point, let's say read list of words into an array list, and then print them out. Actually, let's just say read list of words into an array list. Voila. Alright, just taking a second to think through what will come next here. I think we're ready to start outputting the list of names, or maybe a name. So let's do that after the word list. I'll probably drop the section for the word list because we're eventually not going to care. We're going to have a huge list of words, and we're not really going to care about the actual words. All we're going to care about is the generated name. So for debugging purposes, I'll keep it around for now. So let's look at word list. We have like a size. We do have a size. And I want to look up random number generators. Is that a Java util thing, or is that something else? Here we go. Many applications will find the method math random simpler to use. Let's look at math random. Now that returns a double, so a floating point value will require some conversion. Let's go look at random and see what we can do here, because I want an integer. Next int bound between 0 inclusive and the specified value exclusive. Yeah, this is perfect. So how do I construct this? What does this do? Yeah, so the default constructor looks good. It sets the seed to a value very likely to be distinct from any other invocation of this constructor, so probably uses time or some other way of randomly seeding it. So yeah, let's start with this. Say random is equal to new random. Say int index is equal to random dot next integer, and the bounds will be wordlist dot size. ArnieFlow, or Arnie Elfo, says, so do you want to prepare your own file with slice of the dictionary, or do you want to parse the whole thing in a memory and make some utilities around its model? I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I don't want to end up distributing that file, because it has its own license. I forget what its license is, but it's probably one of the new licenses. Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike. Let's go look at the license, see what it's licensed under. Yeah, it's licensed under the GNU General Public License. And so I don't want to distribute this in a way that would potentially make the GNU license apply to my own code. I'm not an expert on these licenses. And so my thought is to distribute a utility that'll work with this dictionary so that the user can use the tool to come up with their own slice of that file using their own criteria. I'll probably give a default implementation that I think works well, but they can always tweak it for their own purposes. So that was kind of my thought, to say, hey, you can either use your own word list that you generated yourself. If you want, you can use this utility to download this dictionary and parse it and use a slice of it for yourself, or do something else. That's kind of the approach I was thinking there. And I think if somebody were to pull a list of words out of this and distribute just the list of words, I doubt copyright would apply to that. And so I could potentially just distribute a pure list of words, but I don't know. I'm leaning towards the let people kind of decide their own approach. Alright, so we have our index. Let's see, string random word is equal to... Actually, we could probably do this. Let's see, word is equal to word list dot get index. Random name. Just print out this with word. So pretty basic. Let's see if this much works. Yeah, so we have our word list, and random name is 0. Random name is 5. 7. So the randomness does seem to be working. I was a little worried when 0 came out the first time around that we're having an issue there. Just to see if 9 ever pops out here. 9, there we go. So it seems to be working. We've seen words ranging from 0 to 9. I haven't tested to see if all of them have popped out, but enough of them seem to be. So what I really want is to have... we don't want just the one word, we want to have a combination of words, similar to what... let's see where it went. Similar to what GitHub does. Word-word. So I want to have one random word, followed by a dash, followed by a second random word, is kind of the format I want to go with here. So let's say... well, first let's say int count is equal to 2. Int I is equal to 0. I less than count. Let's go ahead and dump this into here. Let's see, let's say string name is equal to the empty string. If name dot, is it length, is greater than 0, let's go ahead and add in, we'll say name plus equals dash. We'll add in the dash. Say name plus equals let's go pull this out to here. Sorry, start with a blank name. Reiterate over this twice. If name is not, if the length of name is not 0, we will add a dash. And so we'll basically have word dash word. Oh, let's fix this. This needs to be name. And now that we're actually having a little more output, I'm going to go add back this dash here. That was weird. What the heck? What the hell is my editor doing? Okay, that was weird. Oh, this is not right. This is the wrong spot to put it. So it's only here. The legal line end in string literal. Idea why my editor gets really upset about that, but not here. Sorry, I haven't worked with IntelliJ very much, so I'm still kind of seeing some of these idiosyncrasies and trying to see what the heck's going on there. That's what built. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Oops, let's actually run it. As we over word this, and then we have a random name, 7-5. So it seems to be working. I think the only change I would add is we'll probably want to output a series of names, in case somebody wants to name a whole bunch of stuff, or what I've done before with similar approaches is to actually print out like 10 or 20 or 30 names and then look over them and see if any of them catch my eye. So let's do that. Let's go print out a series of random names so that the user can pick one that they like. So let's rename this. Go word count on this one. So rename it Shift F6. Word count. say 10 for name count. Let's go ahead and rename this. I think it's what, Shift F6 is what I said? Yeah. Say J, so that'll be the inner loop. We'll say for I less than 0, I is less than name count. Ah. My editor's getting... My editor's getting too fancy there. It likes to reformat things. I'm gonna have to fix that. Because I have my own particular way of formatting things, and the editor is not doing it correctly. I don't want to go through and have to configure all that right at the moment. Let's see, I think I want to put these things at top, since they're kind of configuration variables. I want them to be things that are easily visible. As we iterate over this entire block for name count times, so 10 times, we generate 2 random words each. I print out the random name. And I think what I want to do is actually... Let's do this. With the same formatting we did before. Alright, let's give that a try, see what that does. Alright, so we have our word list, and then we have our 10 random names. We've got 6840530239, 6439663062. So other than being really boring, it does seem to be working just fine. So that's probably a good commit point. Let's go ahead and look where we're at. Yeah, so we've added these variables, name count, word count. We've added this formatting back on words so that it looks consistent now. It was just a little weird beforehand. We've added a random number generator. We've added a printout for random names. We print out name count names, so 10 names, with word count words each, so 2 words each. There's a small efficiency issue here, which I'm not going to worry about, but we're using the string concatenation operator to create these names. And if we were generating a large number of words in each name, it would be inefficient. The better approach would be to use like a Java, I think, string builder. But for just kind of testing simple name purposes, this isn't too bad. We're only generating 10 names anyways, so efficiency isn't really my biggest concern right now. And so I think we're good. Let's go ahead and commit this. Print out. Let's just print out random names. Print Print out 10 random names. Oh, we'll just keep it generic. Let's see. Arnie Elfo says pairs of adjective dash noun is better than pairs of nouns. Yeah, that's a good point. It might make sense to have two different word lists. One word list being adjectives, another word list being nouns. Let's see if GitHub does that. Ideal umbrella. Ideal is an adjective and umbrella is a noun. Let's see if that's a pattern that repeats itself. Fuzzy waddle. Fuzzy is an adjective. Waddle is more of a verb, maybe? Could it be a noun? I don't know. Silver umbrella is back. Fuzzy octo waffle. Animated waffle. Turbo octo sniffle. So it does look like they're using an approach that is kind of like that bug-free pancake. I don't know about you guys, but I like my pancakes to be bug-free. Yeah, so I'm going to add that to the list of things to consider here. Consider using adjective, noun, word lists to generate names in the form of adjective, noun. And if we can actually get access to word form, whether it's an adjective or a noun from that dictionary list, that would be great as well. That'd be quite handy. For now, I'm going to keep it the simple approach that we have just for testing purposes, and I kind of want to start digging into this word list next. And so that'll be a good time to start seeing what options we have, what metadata we could pull out of each word. Now, for now, we will print out our render names. Let's go ahead and commit that. And I think there's one other commit I want to do before I start looking at the list of the dictionary. And I think at this point we could probably get rid of this code that if somebody, we're pretty close to somebody being able to use this in a real environment. So let's go ahead and build it and test it here. See what it does look like. Yeah, so if you can imagine the word list is sizable, we don't really care about the word list. If we want to see the word list, we can simply edit. We can look at the word list directly. And so I want to get rid of this. We don't need that debugging information any longer. And actually, since that's the only output we have now is the random names, I think we can get rid of some additional output. We can get rid of this, and I think we can make this simpler. So that all it does is print out bare random names with no formatting of any kind. Perfect. Reduce output to only print out random names. That sounds like a really good push point, so I'm going to go ahead and push that. For those of you who are following along at home, all this code is available on my GitHub repository. You can go to github.com/cudepixel/thingnamer. It's the name of the project. And the latest code that I just pushed there a few seconds ago is available there. So I haven't displayed the stream schedule for a little bit here, so let's take a quick break and show the stream schedule. Right now, I am working on open source software development, building a random name generator. My next stream will be on Sunday at 8 a.m., continuing open source software development. The project is to be determined. It depends on how far I get on this random name generator tonight. If I complete it tonight, I have another project I can work on Sunday. Otherwise, I'll continue my work on this on Sunday. All these times are in the United States Pacific time zone, so UTC -8 for those of you who might be in different time zones. And just a quick reminder of when I'm streaming next. I'm working on establishing a schedule, so I don't have anything more than that. But when I do stream again on Sunday, I should have my next stream scheduled at that time. And I'll just keep working on it. Alright, so back to the to-do list. I think what I want to do is pull words from the GNU Collaborative International Dictionary of English, available at that URL. And I've already downloaded that. I did that earlier in the stream. This is that URL for those who want to look at that there. And I've got some of these words up already. I'm actually going to... let's see here. Probably be better to just open these up in a real editor. Just going to read you through this. I'm not going to read it aloud. You can read along if you want. And most quotations in the original 1913 dictionary are now well over 100 years old. Wow. Taking convention is special character symbols are contained in ancillary files in this directory. See below. Ancillary files. So I probably want to look at those. The definitions in the dictionary are in most cases over 100 years old. Use them with caution. Note the paragraph tags, the open P and closed P, do not always nest properly with certain other tags such as note and CS. Collocation section, which in some cases can space multiple paragraphs. If we're using a tag parser which detects the proper nesting, You should first either delete the paragraph tags or convert them to non-tag symbols, or if possible, set the pressure to ignore the p tags. Arnie Elfo asks, am I happy with Maven? You've PTSD from Java build tools. I'm pretty happy with it. I've used it pretty successfully with some somewhat complex projects. I used it a lot on some Minecraft plugins, and it's really handy for managing dependencies and builds and whatnot. It's a bit of a learning curve. I remember when I first looked at it, it was really challenging, and it took a while before I turned around and looked at it again, but I've been pretty happy with it ever since. What I used before was, I think, Ant, Apache Ant, and the problem I ran into with Ant is just having to manually do dependency management was a real pain in the butt. So I like Maven that it handles a lot of that for you, but there is certainly a lot of complexity. You have to format your directory structure meticulously, and I found that if other developers don't set their projects up properly, that you have a real hard time using their projects as dependencies. So I know one of the issues I ran into with Minecraft plugins is these other projects just sometimes had terrible Maven configurations that took a while to fix. But yeah, I think when used correctly, I think it works well. I'm not aware of an alternative that works as well as Maven does. If you're aware of one, I'm certainly happy to look at other alternatives. In fact, what I'm really looking for is an alternative in C# that does the same thing that Maven does, because I've run into some of the same issues with C# and I've yet to come up with a good build tool for it. Particularly, my problem is I'm running under Linux, and so I need a build tool that works under Linux. I understand that Microsoft has a bunch of build tools for Windows that probably work just fine, but Linux is a little bit of a different story. Unusual characters such as Greek or the European accented characters, as well as characters, web font. Each paragraph, the original text is enclosed within tags of the form PP. At some points, embedded line breaks within a paragraph are marked by a BR entity. The file can therefore be converted, if necessary, to a form with shorter lines, and is also reconverted back to the form having one line per paragraph. Convert each line break to a space. Convert the string to 2 line breaks. Convert the This text should not be relied upon as an accurate source of information, as in many cases it represents a state of knowledge around 1890. I was hoping this was a little more updated than 1890. So POS is part of speech. Terminology, source, field of knowledge, definition. Tag set probably duplicates some of this information up here. These are the most important tags. Arnie Elfo says .NET build tools. Alright, let me just make a quick note of that for my own purposes. Investigate .NET build. Yeah, come on. That'll be something to look at when I have time. Yeah, so these are the most important tags, so there's probably other tags that are being used. Oh, there's a browser for the dictionary that is here. Let me take a look at that, see what that does. Oh, sorry. You said you didn't say just .NET Build Tools. There is a few other things. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked and didn't notice your previous message. She said, on Linux, build tools are bundled with .NET Core Distribution .NET Build Tools. Okay, yeah, let me correct my notes then. Sorry about that with the pretzel rock stuff popping up. It's easy to get sidetracked sometimes, and I tend to ignore the pretzel rocks, and it makes it easy to ignore earlier messages. I guess you meant to put this like that. And a quick question for those people who are here, who are looking at the Pretzel Rocks messages. Are those messages helpful, or would you prefer they went away? I couldn't make those messages go away if I pay a subscription fee to Pretzel Rocks. I wanted to try it for a while and see if I liked it before I started paying the money, but if it's useful and people like it, I could certainly make those messages go away. I'm happy to pay for a tool that is useful. And if anybody ever sees a song that they like and want to hear more information, you can always type in the song command in chat to get that information as well, which I will do here so you can see how that works. Of course, I timed it right on top of the message coming out, so that's really epic bad timing, but you can see how it works there. Yeah, so I wanted to look up the browser and see what this gets me here. Because if this browser gets me useful information, I might just work with this. What's a window base application for browsing. I thought it might be a web-based interface. Alright, also says, I think the song command is more useful than that chat clattering thingy. Yeah, I agree. That pretzel rocks is kind of cluttering the chat, and it makes it harder for me to follow chat because I have to constantly look over to see who's chatting, and I have to constantly ignore pretzel rocks. And so, as you saw, it does tend to make me miss certain chat messages. Deco web. Aha.
There is beauty in the madness. I just can't see it yet.
We have a search term, but I'm not sure what the search term would be.
The purest artist strives for profuse extremes. The elegance of mortal frailty, I dream. Slaves wait for master to dictate. Put a fire in the deep sea. No empire is gonna keep me. Ode to transience, I create. Put a fire in the blue sky. Leaders broken, waiting to die.
Forlorn faces running from the cold regret. Empty spaces.
I don't know, not seeing anything here that's really catching my eye.
All I wanted was to wish the past away. But at times the cruelest rule that we all obey.
So we have searches based on the actual word, but not searches based on parts of speech. And so I still need to have a parser to handle the parts of speech. Let's go bring up, what was the thing I wonder, like, was it tags, I think? Tag set?
I dream of goodbye. Can see.
There's a lot of information here.
I dream of goodbye.
Mostly just looking to see if parts of speech has a more elaborate definition. Part of speech, always an abbreviation. NVIV T.
I dream of goodbye. More tears.
Part of speech referring to words and etymologies, normal type.
I dream goodbye. Can see. I dream of goodbye. More tears run dry.
So much information to go through. Let's go look at one of the files. We looked at A for a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at... fine. My editor is being dumb. Let's go look at B. Has an encoding that it doesn't like. I'll edit it anyways. lot of junk to work through here. We have these P tags that seem like they have entries, but they also have these other descriptions. So probably want to look for the entry. Be nice if I had a word wrap. Let's turn on word wrap here if I can find it. I have no idea what this XEX is. I'm not really sure what they're getting at there. So we have a source, but I don't see any part of speech on this one. Let's do a quick search and see if I'm just missing it. Yeah, so no part of speech on B. And here we have another note that's completely outside of this paragraph. So we have a note in the field of music. B is the nominal of the seventh tone on the modal to major scale. Blah, 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 blah. So we have a whole nother note attached to the B entry. There's going to be so much. To look at. Here we have B52. Part of speech is noun. Entry BA, VT. Verb T, I'm not sure what T would be. To open the mouth. To kiss. And ba. A cry or bleating of a sheep. A bleat. Ba'in, noun, the bleating of a sheep. Ball. Now this looks like a proper noun. And I don't think I really want proper nouns. But I don't see anything that describes it as a proper noun. And here we have some words that are not capitalized. Babbitine. Part of speech noun. Lining a surface or bearing with Babbitt metal. Babbitt, verb. To line with Babbitt metal. And here we have an entry that is 2 words. And then these are additional notes or definitions. I'm not sure here. Arnifo says, gonna get some sleep. It's 8 a.m. After all, thank you for the stream. Hey, you're quite welcome. Happy to provide you some entertainment. Will I continue working on this or on Name this Sunday, or will it be something else? I'm getting pretty tired, so I'm probably going to wrap up the stream pretty soon here. So yeah, I'll probably continue with Namer on Sunday. The next project I am considering is going to build a interpreter and a compiler for a custom language as kind of a prototype test. I want to experiment with building a custom language and see what it would take to build a compiler or interpreter for that. So on Sunday I'll probably continue to do some of this, depending on how excited I am by this project. I may just do a simple word list and move on to the next thing. I'm a little disappointed by this dictionary. It seems like it's going to be really hard to process. And I'm not getting the information I want out of it, so I'm not sure what to do yet. So that's kind of the thought. If I can find... I'll probably look for a better dictionary offline, off stream, and see if I could find a better dictionary. If I can, I'll probably use that and continue this work on Sunday. If I can't, I'll probably do a little bit of work on it to get it to a better state, to then probably move on to the next project. So that's kind of my thought, but we'll see. It kind of comes down to whatever I feel like working on it at any point. But I do appreciate you hanging out and chatting and following, and hope you had a good time. And hope I get to see you again. And if everybody on stream has thoughts on other dictionaries to consider that might be easier to parse and give me better information, I am certainly open to suggestions. This is just the first one that I thought of, and just wasn't aware that its state was a little weird. Alright, so yeah, have a great night. Or a great, I guess, day. It's 8 a.m. for you, so... Oh, 8 a.m., wow. That's late. I'll catch you later. Have a good night. Babylonian, proper noun. Okay, so it does issue a proper noun. It does define those or list them. Babylonish. Yeah, I think at this point I'm just going to have to think about this a bit more, because it's probably pretty boring for me to go over this on stream. And so I'm going to spend some time off stream looking over this to see if I can make heads or tail of this, maybe look for alternative dictionaries to use. As I said before, I will be back on Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, United States Pacific time. I'll continue work on the Thing Namer project just for a little bit to try to get that to a working state and have some thoughts as to what to do next. Possibly a compiler interpreter for a custom language. Which actually, this itself is its own custom language, and so if I work on an interpreter for my own custom language, it might help me for being able to process this as well. Or other possible dictionaries. So yeah, I think I'll call it here. Thank you for watching me today. Hope you guys had a good time and learned something. If you like what you saw, be sure to follow, and otherwise I will see you on Sunday.